It's funny that you say that because I've realized that not too many people ask you for your own opinion. Most people are just projecting their opinion.
Yes.
And so not a lot of people are asking me how I feel about anything until they've actually told me how they felt about something.
Right.
It's like, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. And then it's like, how do you feel? Because I've taken up too much time telling you how I feel.
I just don't get it. Like, you can talk to somebody and they can tell you their opinion, but when you do tell your opinion, they yell at you for yours. Like, I'm not a fan of shoving, your opinion down somebody's throat. Like, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So don't shove it down somebody's throat. I just feel like it's just taking a step back and listening. People don't listen anymore. They like to argue.
Welcome back to the Positive People Posse Living Room. I'm your host, Dom Green, a life enthusiast and marketer of Positive People Posse. This is where we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and uplifting with professionals of all types, creatives, and just anything that involves marketing. We are your sponsor, 3P Media. We can help you out with your digital footprint online. And today's special guest is going to be Brooke Witt, life coach, mentor. She wears so many hats. I'm happy that you're on today. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on here. I'm so excited and nervous.
Why are you nervous? Is it because you're on this side of being interviewed? You do have a podcast, right?
I do have a podcast. Yes, I'm so good at asking questions. I'd rather be on the other side. I'd rather be the one interviewing people than being interviewed, but I'll do it for you.
Hey, I appreciate that. Cool. And, just going back to how we met, I grew up in Kansas City and you were there. You're not necessarily from Kansas City, but you have some roots there. And, being part of crowds, I've seen you become more into this transition of a spiritual life coach, a mentor, and let's just talk about how that started. Like, you left Kansas City and you moved to LA.
Yep.
And you are now where?
Colorado. Denver.
Colorado. Yeah, let's talk about all those transitions. I think this is exciting because a lot of people kind of feel like they get kind of not just stuck, but they only know one thing and they're not looking for new opportunities and new resets and pivots. So Absolutely. I'll let you have the floor.
I'm queen of, I'm always doing something different. I'm always trying to move somewhere. I'm queen of that. I just can't stay still. That's the truth. But honestly, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska originally, went to school at Kansas State and then moved to Kansas City after that. Lived there for about a year and a half. I was fine. I was content, but I knew there was something more to my life. I was writing in my journal. I was like, there's something more that I need to be doing. So my friend reached out to me. She was like, hey, I'm in LA. We need a roommate. Do you want to come live in Los Angeles? At first, I was like, absolutely not, because I don't like LA. I had only been there one time prior. So I was like, no, I don't really want to. But then I thought about it and was like, actually, maybe I should. So 3 weeks later, I lived in Los Angeles. It was really quick. I just kind of went with my gut and said, why not try it? Because I could always move back to the Midwest if I wanted to. So I moved to Los Angeles, had a few corporate jobs, and then I found out about life coaching. I've always had this knack for wanting to help people, listen to people, and kind of guide them through some difficult times that I've been through. So I found my love for life coaching. And then about a few months after I got certified, I quit my corporate job and became a full-time life coach.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah. So did you have a plan for a career path when you got to LA?
My parents, so I was in the liquor industry. So I was a liquor rep in Kansas City. And so I kind of just did that when I transitioned to LA, because my parents were like, we support you moving to Los Angeles, but you have to have a job. So I got lucky, found a job before even moving out there. I was working for Guinness. I was a business development manager for them, which was really fun, but it wasn't my calling. Liquor isn't something that I'm like super passionate about. It's just something that I happened to fall into. So yeah, I had no plan other than just kind of working at that job. And then I found life coaching, and that set my world on fire.
It's funny what you said about LA. Like you didn't like LA, and yet you moved there
Yeah.
and you gave it a shot, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of how I felt about New York before I moved to New York. I'd been there before,
Mhm.
but it wasn't until I think it was like 2017 when I visited New York, and I was like, wow, I'm seeing an entirely different side of New York. And when I got back to Kansas City, I had already been traveling the world and for work, and I got back to Kansas City, and I kind of put it on my places that I could potentially see myself later on. And I would say that for me personally, I wasn't in love with New York, but then I saw that there were so many other aspects of just being there, and I think it's all about community, the people that you meet, but also just the experiences of understanding how other lives work out there.
Right.
And I'm just such a curious person that it was something I fell in love with mainly because of the people that I've been able to meet.
Hmm.
So I would say that it's always from afar. Sometimes things seem kind of maybe intimidating, um, or they just seem kind of just like, how do people live there? And it's not until you actually get there and
Yeah.
until you like really hone in and say like, okay, these are the special tangibles of a city or an environment. So yeah,
Right.
kudos to you for
Yeah.
diving into something that you probably didn't even know what you were getting into, or the lay of the land or anything.
No, I had no idea. Like I said, I'd only been there once, but I knew I had friends there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be living with some of my best friends. I'll be okay in that area. But I'm not kidding you. As soon as I landed in Los Angeles, it's like this energy, like you can feel it. Like I can't describe it, but like you just feel this energy of just because there's so many people there. And I looked at my parents and I was like, I don't want to do this. I literally was like, I can't do it. And they're like, well, it's too late now, you have to. So then it took me about 2 weeks to really get acclimated and find my place. And then after that, I absolutely loved it. Like I really did enjoy living there.
So I think that's really important that you kind of just talked about, your relationship with your parents. A lot of people don't, may not have a good relationship with their parents. And when they're so able to uplift them and say, hey, you need to try harder, or, get out of your comfort zone. Have they always been like that? Or was it something where they just seen how you've evolved and kind of needed more?
Yeah, I'm the oldest. And I would say I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, I guess you'd say. I'm just I think they've always just known that I'm just very free spirited, and I've always just been, I'm going to do my own thing. So they knew that they couldn't stop me in a way. You know what I mean? Like I told them, I didn't ask them, hey, can I move to LA? I said, hey, I'm moving to LA. And if they weren't going to support it, I probably would have still gone anyway. But I'm very thankful that they did support me. But yeah, they just expect it out of me now.
Love it, love it. So let's kind of talk about some of those trials and tribulations, and kind of going through those experiences that you went through, and how you're able to impact other people in that way. Because oftentimes I think that a lot of people kind of assume that we all just get to this place where we know anything and everything. And what I've learned is I'm continuing to evolve. I'm staying curious. I might master certain aspects of my mood, or just my want and will in life, and maybe just being able to adapt to certain things. But I'm always staying learning, and I'm focused on wanting more. So kind of
Mhm.
speak to some of those transitions that you made in your life, where those were learning experiences that you were able to help other people through your mentorship.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I tell all my clients, when they come to me looking for changes, new habits, new levels of growth. It's like this journey is not just a one fix. You can't just, fix one thing and just expect it to be butterflies and rainbows moving forward. There's always going to be a trial that you need to go through. Obviously, every time you are growing and learning each time, which I think is amazing. But like you said, you're not going to change overnight. It's not just going to happen. It's a continuous growth process. Like I've been really into spirituality for 6 years and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still, discovering new things, trying to work through different things in my own self. So I always tell my clients that it's like, yes, we're going to work together, but you're still going to, with the years to come, you're still going to go through things, which I think is amazing. And I think the one thing that I've learned is taking every experience as a learning opportunity. Like even relationships, even if it was a bad relationship, you can always learn something from that. Or if it was a good one, you can learn something from that. Moving to Los Angeles, you can learn something from that. You know what I mean? So there's always just a way to learn from every experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so for you, I will say this, you had me on like an Instagram live
Yeah.
and we kind of talked about journaling and, I think the work that goes into, being alone and being kind of still, we do essentially everything by ourselves. I mean, whether if you have people around you or not, we are thinking for ourselves, even if some of our thoughts have been inherited by the people we've been around. But
Mhm.
that work and that alone time that you have, and honing in on who you are as a person, that's really important. And so walking through that, that health coach, on the mental side, how do you encourage people to dive in on really working on themselves?
Yeah. It's crazy because we say like we spend a lot of time with ourselves, but I don't think we do in like a deeper way. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people in today's society, they look outside of themselves for the answers, for a cure, a fix it, you know what I mean? All these things that they want, but really all the answers are within inside of you. So I'm a huge believer of journaling, like you said, and going internal and asking yourself the questions that you want, you know what I mean? Because we can always ask these people and they can tell us what to do, but that's them, that's their opinion. I think turning it internal and saying, okay, Brooke, what do I need right now? What's going on? What can I fix? What can do better? You know what I mean? Just going internal and asking yourself is the way to go. So journaling is very important.
Like my journal looks completely different than a lot of people. I would attribute it to being my ADD side, where I can sketch, I doodle, I will, maybe just write one word. There's really no construct on how you journal. I will say that, for me, the element is, kind of where I'm at today. And also my journaling is, aspirations. And things that I've learned. But having something, a place for me to escape and be able to kind of go back to a time and day and saying like, wow, what have I mastered? And what is still something that I'm continuing seeing, problems that I'm seeing. A lot of people could probably say that, journaling for them, they don't have enough time for that they don't have enough time. I don't know what I'm journaling for. But I would say that it's more, it's kind of like studying analytics, if you're seeing a series of the same things that are happening, or you're going through the same experience and the outcome hasn't really changed much, maybe it's a clue. Maybe it's
Right.
something that really sticks out. And the only way that we could probably overcome anything is through our own experiences, is not just because someone says, hey, you should do this.
Right.
Coaching is like probably 15% of it, but it's more of like that aha aspect, right? Where it's like, oh, have you recognized this in your life? And it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's helping me become more aware. And that's the same thing with journaling for me, is, even my aspirations and or ideas that can be put into a journal, so there's so many ways to look at it.
Oh, absolutely. I know so many people, they come to me when I talk about journaling, like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do, but that's the beauty of it. It's your journal. No one has to look at it. you know.
Let's pause real quick. I'm thinking that we're having some lagging issues right now. Sorry, guys. We had some technical difficulties. We are back now. Brooke, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Let's get back to it. That was such a good statement. You're talking about, how journaling is how you journal.
Yeah. So I've been kind of like what you say. My journal looks different every single day. I don't have a certain thing that I do every day. It's just kind of whatever I feel like doing. I did just recently get into bullet journaling. Have you ever heard or seen what that looks like?
No, tell me.
So you know how like a regular journal, they have just like the lines. This journal has dots, and it's a way, I'm very creative. So it's just a way to kind of get my creative like juices flowing. So you kind of create, so I have like a daily, what am I trying to say? Mood tracker. I track my like water intake. I track like just different things, but you create like, I don't know. It's just like a cool way to track stuff, I
Yeah,
guess.
check your habits.
Uh,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's really important. Trying to replicate something often just by your, I don't know, your own perception of like what I did yesterday. It's really difficult if you're not really trying to track that somehow.
Yeah.
I've realized that because with us, our team, what we do is we actually have CRM, which helps us track our conversations, and we have a lot of success stories, but replicating success needs to be on paper or in some digital format for us to understand exactly like what did we do right with this client.
Sure.
So yeah, let's talk about some of these new things. You and I had spoke last week. I said, hey, let's jump on this podcast. It kind of took a long time for you to respond back, and it's okay. I'm not taking any offense to it, but you responded back, and I gotta call people. I gotta be real. I gotta be honest. You did get back to me, and then you also said that you've got an app that's in progress right now. So I want to hear about like how you got into this new app world. Like what inspired you to think about coming up with something that could possibly help others.
Yeah. It's crazy because like a year ago, I wrote in my journal, I wanted to have an app eventually. It's so crazy. I'll write things down and it happens, which is amazing. I'm so thankful. But I wasn't really like looking too much into apps at that moment in time. But a company reached out to me saying, hey, we do apps for a fraction of the cost of somebody that actually is like an app developer. So we talked for a bit, worked some things out, and then I think it took 2 months to kind of come up with like everything that I wanted in the app. It was really easy for me to kind of come up with all this stuff. Like I said, I'm really creative. So it was really fun to put that whole thing together. 2 months later, here we are. It's on the App Store. It's on Google Play. Like it's legit live right now. And it's crazy and scary and fun and amazing all at the same time.
That's awesome. So is it on iOS? Because I am not a Google person.
It is. It is
Okay.
on the App Store. Yeah, on iOS. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk us about what this app is and what the idea was.
Yeah. So I recently got certified for meditation and breath work. So I'm a meditation facilitator. So I'm really in like what the app is a place for you to find my meditations, find my breathwork practices, but there's also a way to become a member of my app. And through that membership, you get access to growth resources, my spiritual network, which is resources from like a personal trainer, a gut health coach, and then a relationship coach. So it's really like this platform to really help you in all areas of growth, relationships, career, your life. Like it's an easy and a really affordable way to access all that stuff.
So you're probably writing a lot of content for, certain areas. And so this is going to be ever evolving, right?
Yeah. Yep. Every month I try to come out with new content. So yeah, I'm always coming up with new programs or downloadable PDFs that people can, download on their phone. or audio files, stuff like that. Just everything that people need to grow and to succeed in their life, it's there.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
one thing I will say is we all go through a lot of shit, and I know that often when we're going through whatever it is, it's hard to figure out how to hone in on new habits, because those new habits that we have, when everything is going wrong, it's hard to like pause sometimes and say like, hey, I really just need to work on myself. And so
Yeah.
any way to enhance better moods, I'm all about. One thing I will say is I see that often people may think that life is just either happiness or sadness, and positivity and everything that we go through in life is not always us just smiling all the time. It's not all about this rainbows, kittens, butterflies, and
Nope.
Candyland. And like someone said, dude, you are like always so happy and you're always smiling all the time. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm not smiling in my sleep. Like I'm not like smiling when I'm making my eggs, in the morning, or cooking my food, or working out and grunting and going through these
Sure.
hard things in my life. But overall, yes, I'm a happy person, but I've got a lot to be thankful and grateful about. And so everything's all about a process, and it doesn't look. I think it's like positivity can be looked at as one of the like good or bad, right? But
Yeah.
positivity is also a thing that is very toxic these days, because people just assume that, oh, this person's life is perfect. They got pretty photos, they've got, like this cool curated lifestyle, and happiness and joy and whatever. And it's like, well, your dopamine can only ride so high on being
Mhm.
like happy or doing things that make you happy. And if you do that all the time, it can lead you the wrong way, right? And so working on yourself and then being able to have those moments that you do have happiness,
Yeah.
and because you've like really worked, or you've mastered, or you've overcame something, that's what I'm about, like it's the
Sure.
positive and negative effect, you need that negative reaction to get that positive reaction. And like happiness looks different in so many different ways. Like some people have RBF, and if you don't know what RBF is, that's resting bitch face. And that person who has an RBF doesn't necessarily look happy, but they could be a happy person. And we don't
Right.
give all aspects of positivity a chance, because we have this idea of what it looks like. And
Right.
social media has done that a lot for a lot of people, and it's become like a semi-toxic environment.
I agree.
So tell me about your happy side, tell me about your negative side, and tell me it's not all good all the damn time.
It's not. It's really not at all. I feel like when I think about positivity, I feel like it's more of like a perspective, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, you have to, there's always going to be good and bad. It's just how you handle it and how you react to it. You know what I mean? I think that's where it comes in, because you can, if something bad happens to you, you can decide, okay, am I going to go the positive route or am I going to go the negative route? So then that's where that positivity comes in, right? So I feel like that's what positivity means to me. It's just a perspective. It's just a different outlook of life, really. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going through shit right now and I'm going through the mud, but this is just what I have to go through at this moment. You let it flow, you accept it, you take it head on, and you just keep moving forward. You know what I mean? That's what I see as positivity.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, okay, let's kind of get to this transition, because I kind of talked about social media standards these days. And Positive People Posse, through P Media, we can help you out with your digital marketing footprint. That does include social media, but here's the thing. Some of our practices that we do for our own clients aren't the same practices that we do for ourselves. And that's because we look at life at a different level or a different angle, and our purpose might be a little bit different for the end goal. And me personally, so I'm such a social person, social butterfly, but at the same time, I need to let my time, I just need to rest,
Yep.
and I only want to do things when they're very natural for me, because I feel like I have I got a purpose, and I don't want to falsify a certain persona of who I am, because that would be disingenuous, and I want to connect with the right audience of people. And a lot of people out there these days may feel like they need to keep up with the Joneses. And I will tell my clients all day, you don't have to have 100,000 followers to be a successful business. I know tons of people that are doing millions of dollars in revenue, not having this big engagement or this big footprint. And we can help figure out a better plan that doesn't actually look like social media, because it can be, I don't know, almost impossible these days. Engagement's completely different. It's shifted.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that, the things that we did before just no longer are working. So you have to kind of just hone in on okay, this is my belief, this is my purpose, and I'm just going to stick to that and not worry about keeping up with whatever made up competition you have, right? And so talk about, because you got a decent sized presence. I'm sure it could be bigger. When I look at people's, following, I'm like, okay, you got, how many people follow you?
15,000.
So 15,000, that's a lot of people, but to larger standards, there's people with hundreds of thousands of followers, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
but you have to hone in on your reach, right? You have to hone in on who actually gives a fuck about what it is that you do, right? And you're bringing value to people. So talk about the not so good things about social media that you've seen, and some of the positive, the better things that you've seen about connecting with community on social media.
Yeah. I think the bad side of it that I notice is that keeping up with the Joneses. Like when I came out with my app, I realized I was like, well, all these people, they market it this way and they do this and they have the website and they do this and that. So it really like I started to back away from the app for a little bit because I was like so worried about how other people were doing it or how I should be doing, keeping up with the times, or maybe I should be on TikTok or this and that. You know what I mean? Like trying to do what other people are doing. But what I've noticed, and the amazing side of it is when I completely let go of that, let go of trying to match everybody else, do what everybody else says, and just follow what I want and kind of follow my heart. That's when the most engagement comes. That's when all the followers come. That's when all the new clients come. You know what I mean? When I let go of all those expectations and stuff like that and just be who I am. Cause that's really that's how I got my following. If I'm being honest, I'm just really vulnerable and talk about a lot of things that I've gone through. And I don't really care that I share that stuff because I want people to see I'm a real ass person. I'm not going to pretend that everything's butterflies and rainbows. I'm going to tell you that I've been through some stuff, but then I'm going to show you how to get through it as well. So just being authentic, that's how I've gotten my following, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I think when I've looked at people's social media growth, I've seen this impact where again, we're talking about curating this life of like happiness, and like that's very hurtful and painful for other people to see every day when they're trying to compare to someone, and they see that like, well, in my life I don't have all of these things, and you know is that what it's about now? Is Are we to the point right now that we're at the almost at the bubble burst where people think that they need to have a lifestyle to be happy, or can they just be normal? Where's the normalcy these days? And You
That's
know,
what I want. I
yeah,
want people to be normal. Like, stop looking outside of yourself. Go
yeah,
within. Figure out what you want, what you like, what you don't like. Figure out your goals, your purpose. Like, stop looking outside to others and comparing yourself. Like, everyone is so unique. No one person is the same. And I feel like so many people need to get that through their head. Like, yes, there's people that might be doing something similar, but you bring something different to the table. Just
yeah,
being you, and I
100%.
feel like so many people need to realize that.
Yeah, and it doesn't take having 100,000
No.
followers or whatever to do that. Um, I don't know if you've seen this, but if you have HBO listeners or Brooke, there's this new documentary called Fake Famous, and it is such a great documentary. It is semi-funny, semi-serious, but it talks about how they've taken three people, three subjects, and they turn these people into what is quote unquote insta famous these days. And so, these were three different perspectives on what these people dealt with on trying to get this curated fame and what that looked like. And it was like this lifestyle, like a sociology experiment of this lifestyle that that they thought that they wanted. And there was one outcome that I don't want to spoil this, but there was one outcome where this person really evolved into like a huge influencer. Like, I mean, to all standards of today, when you talk about hundreds of thousands of followers, it was there was a formula to get her success, and but at the end of it all, you really see what it still does to you on a human level of
Mhm.
feeling like, okay, now I have so much more to lose, right?
Yeah.
And you built this persona up to be, this almost an authoritative figure in some people's eyes. When you really think about it, it's weird with the social responsibility that we have sometimes. If you put out certain messages or aspects of who you are, and if you're outside of that at any point in time, you don't leave yourself, you can't be vulnerable. If you don't build
Mhm.
a following where you are vulnerable, you can end up
Right.
being more vulnerable to being like, oh my God, that's not what we like about you. Now you have to placate to, these standards. And so I thought it was very interesting because, it's like some cases people are taking away this human element where they are being affected by the comments or watching someone else's following, like, well, they got X amount of likes or whatever it is, and as soon as you hit go, you only get 200 likes or whatever, and then you don't feel like you're worthy and stuff. And that part is really, that's so toxic. And me
Yeah.
personally, I almost just feel like now I know more, and I'm willing to say that I kind of wouldn't mind not having likes out there,
Yeah.
these days. Like, and just that's just me. It's not because I'm riding on trying to have, um, a big following or a whole bunch of likes, but that's not what my content's all about. Because I see what it does to other people, and how people can be affected, and their worth is more than a like. Their worth is more than how many views or whatever it is. We all want to go viral to some degree, but I want to go viral to be notable, not
Right.
necessarily famous. Or And so, yeah, seeing that, like, I, I don't know, I don't really have an answer, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is, you probably have felt that need to like have X amount of likes for something to be successful, and you're wondering why this isn't doing well. I had felt that at one point in time, but now I got past that point maybe a couple years ago, where I was just like, oh, my success isn't contingent on social media.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
so many other ways to be successful, and it doesn't mean millions of followers or millions of dollars.
It doesn't. No, not at all. Like I said, as long as you're staying true to who you are, you know, and what your message is. I think that's most important. But I'm not gonna lie, there definitely is some times where I compare myself. You know, I'll see, because I follow so many other coaches on my page, and I probably shouldn't, but I see other coaches and they're doing something different, or they're making more money than me, or they came out with something really cool that I should have thought of. And so, you know, then that I go down a rabbit hole. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe my work's not good enough. What makes me better than them, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever. But then as soon as I can catch myself comparing with somebody else, that means I got to put my phone down. I can't, you
Yeah.
know, I have to step away from that moment and check in with myself. Because if I start to compare, that means something's not right inside of me. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So just being aware that you are comparing and being able to step out of that, that's what's helped me a ton.
I
Because
appreciate you saying that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, overall, it's not the fact that just because you're having that experience doesn't make you any less than anyone, or
Right.
less than or greater than anyone. It just makes you human, and you know, it makes you understand that, like, because of the algorithm, because of the platform, it's kind of been designed to be that way. It's
Mhm.
been very designed to make it very competitive, when we aren't really thinking that this is, you know, competition or anything, but like, yeah, I mean, that's what the platform is kind of designed to do. We're basically just watching people. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. And we're watching people, but you know, we should think about how we can connect to people, you know,
Mhm.
and that kind of goes to your app, you know, it's like you're trying to connect with people in a different way. And as that grows, then you can probably evolve it to other ideas and aspirations that you probably have for this platform. Um, but it is connected to a person, so you have to connect with people. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a business side to doing anything and everything. But I tell all of my clients that all we are is a sum of connections. You know, connecting with people, and you know, that's what we do, is we want to connect with people. And you have to step outside the box sometimes. You have to do
Right.
things that are just disruptive in a way that's like, well, you know, it's not just about your competition, but it's really about, like, what makes you uncomfortable? Okay, let's do that then. How about
Yes.
that? Let's do. Oh, just because you think in your mind it won't work, well, it won't work if you're not committed to it. You
Right.
have to really, you have to trust yourself, or trust others sometimes, to say, like, hey, I need to do something a little bit different. You know, you do that with your coaching, you know,
Sure.
let me shake something up in my life in order to learn something new.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
I love that. I love that. So, you know, let's talk about, you know, maybe aspirations that you have for your future. You know, so you've made this transition from, you know, moving to LA. Actually, we might need to backtrack. So, moving to LA, becoming a life coach, and then, like, you're in an awesome relationship, right? Like,
I am. Mhm.
you guys found each other somehow. I don't know how you guys found each other, but and then
Social
through
media.
social media, so that's awesome.
Yep.
And then you moved to Colorado. So, okay, where did this come into play?
What, moving to Colorado?
Yeah, yeah. Was it pandemic, or what was it?
Pandemic, for
Okay.
sure. So if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, we'd probably still be in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But so I had been living in LA for 2 years until we decided to move. So I met my boyfriend a year ago through social media. We hit it off. It was great. And then about 8 months into it, and during the pandemic last year, we were like, you know, LA, it was really locked down more than any other, you know, state. So we couldn't go to the gym, we couldn't do anything, and we're like,
Same
okay,
here in
we
New
need something
York. Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
we were both experiencing the same thing for sure.
Yeah. So, and I've always wanted to live in Denver. So we visited, and then again, like a month later, we were like, all right, let's do it. And so we just packed our stuff up. We weren't living with each other before, so this was a huge step for both of
Yeah.
us. And now we live together. It's been 4 months and it's been amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so, so how do you feel rooted in Denver now? Is it?
I love it. For a while, for the
Better
first,
than it was when LA was not pre-pandemic, or
oh, it's so hard because I feel like I do miss Los Angeles, I'm not gonna lie. But I think the things that I miss the most are the weather. The weather is just absolutely incredible there. The beach,
of
I took it
course.
for granted when I was there. I was there a
Yeah.
lot, but now that I'm not there, I'm like, oh, I miss the beach so
You
much.
didn't go enough, right?
Clearly not. But no, for the first month when we moved here, I didn't really like it. If I'm being honest, I just kind of felt like I didn't have any roots, but obviously I just moved, so that makes sense. But after about a month, we met people. We found a gym we really liked. I've created my office in here, so it's been amazing. I really do like living in Colorado, and I go on hikes like every week, so
See,
it's
that's awesome. Yeah, I believe, yeah, that's for me, being able to go hiking, being able to just being like feeling like that's a natural type of thing. Being outdoors is such a great thing. I live just outside of the city, and I have access to mountains and awesome parks in New York, and I think that's been the biggest difference maker. But I also love the energy of being around people, just like
Mhm.
full capacity, no mask, and all of that. But that's on pause right now. So for me, I like and enjoy the fact that I have been able to connect with our client base in a different way now,
Right.
and it's helped me be a lot more focused on helping other people's success stories even
Mhm.
more. And so this year has actually the full year actually kind of helped us at Positive People Posse, me connect with the team even more and set forth more goals, and be more dedicated to helping people get results. And but yeah, it'd be nice to you know have that lifestyle where I could go to the gym and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't have a gym anymore, so like,
Dang.
yeah,
The
that kind
gym's
of
not
sucks.
open there yet?
They have, but like I'm still kind of leery now.
Yeah.
Still kind of leery about going to gyms, and I want to interact with people, but I still need to kind of figure out like what's the medium right there. I just want to be
Right.
responsible, like I'm
I
not
get it.
I'm apolitical. I see all sides. I understand people are very passionate about this pandemic process and stuff, but I'm like, hey, I'm just doing what's right for me. I can't tell you that you need to live your life to whatever standard. I'm just like, yeah, I guess I need to figure some things out.
Yeah, I know. There's no point to get in an argument with somebody. So I'm just
No,
like, everyone has their own opinion, which I respect. I'll
that's
listen to
cool.
you, but I'm not going to argue with you. Don't
Yeah.
tell me what to do, though. You just do you, I'll do me.
Well, it's
But
funny
I'll
that we
respect.
say that. It's funny that you say that because I've realized that not too many people ask you for your own opinion. Most
True.
often, most people don't ask you for your opinion. Most people are just projecting their opinion.
Yes.
And so not a lot of people are asking me how I feel about anything until they've actually told me how they felt about something. And it's
Right.
like,
Which,
this is how I feel, this is how I feel. And then it's like, how do you feel? Because I've taken up too much time, like telling you how I feel. Like, I think they acknowledge that, but
I just don't get it. Like, how somebody, you can talk to somebody and they can tell you their opinion, but when you do tell you your opinion, they yell at you for yours. And it just
yeah,
doesn't, like, I'm not a fan of shoving, your opinion down somebody's throat. Like, again,
agenda or
everyone's
opinion.
different. Everyone,
Yeah,
exactly. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So don't
yes,
shove it down somebody's throat. I just feel like it's just taking a step back and listening. Like, people don't listen anymore. They like to argue and
yeah.
say I'm right, point fingers, whatever. It's like take a step back and listen to people for
So
goodness sake.
exhausting.
It's not hard.
I think that's the key element. I mean, that's what I think would help is being able to get people to listen a little bit more,
Oh
and
yeah.
just for our listeners, I shouldn't even be talking about my other ventures and stuff, but I have partnered with some other people, and we've got an app that we're in the process of building, a new social media experience, and it involves all of that, and I think it's so important for us to recognize now that technology where it is today, we didn't know that it would be to this point. We didn't know that we could almost, regress with technology. Do you remember the first time that you downloaded your first social media app? Was it Facebook? What was your first social media platform, Brooke?
That's a good question.
MySpace? Were you too young for
Yes,
that? Okay.
MySpace. I did have I forgot about
Okay.
that. I did have
So,
it. Yep.
so let's think about this. When we were using MySpace for the first time and Facebook for the first time, when you got on, it was really just about showcasing your friends, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And connecting with people and like maintaining these connections. And
Yeah.
now somehow, some way, it has evolved beyond that. It's evolved into now seeing what's happening in other people's lives and their opinions, and like there's this fuel of
Yeah.
just like hatred and different things, and people are taking articles and they're sharing them now. They might be real, they might be fake,
Yeah.
and like there's a lot of problem with the fraudulent side of social media, and it's really playing our strings. It's hurting us, because now if someone shares an article, before you even read the article, someone's like, oh my gosh, not again. Like everywhere you go, you got news, you got media, you got people that are just butting heads. And before, it was this perspective that I could have my limited group of people, and I'm just happy because me and my friends are just like, there's some camaraderie there, like, but now it's like, I don't even, I do not like Facebook. We use Facebook for our marketing and stuff, but
Mhm.
personally, it's hard to be on certain platforms. And
It
so,
is.
yeah, we're trying to navigate, what we know about social media now, and
Mhm.
basically improve it. I feel like, the ones that can improve it won't, because there's no money in improving that
Right.
part. And so, like I've taken on that responsibility we have as a team. And so it's exciting to know that, like, we do have a social impact. Like
Mhm.
you have a social impact of helping people. I
Right.
personally feel like I have a social impact to help people as well. That's either helping people become entrepreneurs, like successful entrepreneurs, and with
Mhm.
their marketing plan, or just like the life mental aspect. That's why we're Positive People Posse. It's because like we lead with positivity, and it doesn't look like happiness, as we were saying all the time. It's really just like, let's find a way, but let's find a way together, right?
Exactly.
And so a lot of people have a lot of opinions. A lot of people have a lot of great ideas, and we should be able to do that. And that's what our platform. That's why we're creating it, so people can share their ideas and help one another, and not be that space where it's just hate, 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 hate all
Right.
day. So
It makes me wonder like what it would look like if people were able to speak their opinion freely, but
yeah,
not have people be mad at them for having their opinion. You know what I mean? Like it's
exactly.
really interesting to see that. I feel like good conversations could flow,
Yeah,
people might connect, like people would learn, you know what I mean? Like that would be my dream world, like where everyone can just accept everybody and their
yeah.
opinion. It doesn't matter. They just accept it, you know?
I did invite you to join Clubhouse, and
Yeah.
I will say that Clubhouse is doing some very interesting things, and I really appreciate the platform that they built, because it's allowing people to be thinkers, and talkers and speakers, and people are able to idea share and
Mhm.
talk about their experiences, and their face isn't shown really, other than their profile picture. So I think about it, there's ways to improve it, but at the same time, I do appreciate the community aspect, and I invited you to be on it because it's like
Yeah.
invite only. And yeah, I think it's a good platform and community for you. And I would love to host a conversation, and us do our first live speak on there, because it can be collaborative of having other people ask us questions, and not necessarily just having the right answer, but just like being able to talk to people like on a live podcast
Right.
format. So
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
listeners, please stay tuned for that, because Brooke did accept the notion and invite for that. So it'd be really cool for you guys to jump in and answer questions. If you are on the platform, I'm sorry if you haven't got the invite yet, but maybe ask around. I'm out of invites. Yeah, I had 3 invites. I gave them to people that I felt that could use, having that area of focus where they're trying to help people. So it's very interesting. So you guys look into Clubhouse. I think that it's going to be a really good difference maker in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, I keep hearing about it, but when you asked me to join it, I was like, I don't even really know what this platform is, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to start having talks like that. I'm definitely down.
So I've noticed that you got a couple new tattoos here. Let's talk about that. I haven't, so I've got a lot of tattoos myself, but I haven't got to the left side. Is that your left or your right? That would be your right side. So
this is my right.
That's your right. So you got a couple new ones. Is this a brand new one?
This is brand new. It's like two weeks old. It says self-love juice.
I like that.
And I'm gonna add some little like drops, so they're gonna be heart shaped.
All right, nice.
Yeah, my boyfriend came up with that idea.
I love that. I love that.
This one, it's what is that? A light bulb with a brain inside of it.
Oh, I love that. It's funny because that light bulb and the brain thing, when Positive People Posse first started like 3 years ago, I was going through so many different logos and stuff. Yeah. And that was a kind of a similar concept of what we were going to do. I'm glad we found the smiley face with the positive energy. I had so many ideas, but yeah, I could resonate with that one. So I might be stealing that tattoo.
I love it. To me, it symbolizes just keeping an open mind.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So to not the average person, but to people that may be professionals, entrepreneurs, whatever it may be, what type of advice could you give as far as like getting in that headspace of maybe creativity or headspace of just really overcoming your obstacles? What would you like to leave with at the end of this podcast? What type of things could you give our listener that you've learned and experienced for yourself?
Yeah, I always say this: do what feels right to you. Find and figure out what works for you. Maybe that's working from home or it's working from somewhere else. I just feel like you need to find what works for you that helps you be, creative or productive or successful. You know what I mean? So just journaling. So sitting down and actually journaling, like, what is it that I need to be successful? Or what is it that I need to do this or do that? You know what I mean? So I think it's just really going within, asking yourself what you need and staying true to yourself and what works for you. That's 100% what I would say.
Awesome. And last but not least, this is a 2-part question, but what is your biggest weakness and what is your superpower?
Oh, what?
Yeah, caught you off guard. Yeah. We have to do is consistency. And if you don't know, that's okay. But we're just going to say that you're not that creative in understanding your own self. I'm joking. You wouldn't be that way.
My biggest superpower is being able.
Whoa. Let's go to the negative one first. What is your weakness first? You're jumping ahead.
My weakness is wanting to do too many things at once. That's what I would say. Yeah. I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas sometimes that I want to put them out there, and then sometimes it's not the best thing to do. So I would say having too many ideas sometimes.
Doing the most. Okay,
yes.
Now your superpower.
My superpower is being able to listen to people in an unbiased, non-judgmental way.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. And now go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you, social media handles and websites and all that stuff.
So social media, I don't have a website. I'm not listening to the people that say have a website. So no website here, but I have a social media. It's at Brooke Witt. I have a podcast, which is the Honest Podcast. And my app is on iTunes, or not iTunes, the App Store or Google Play, and it's called Free Happiness.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Hey, Brooke, thank you for being on today. Thank you for being real, raw, authentic. And again, everyone, please like and subscribe and share if this speaks to you. And of course, we are your sponsor again, Positive People Posse 3P Media. We can help you out with your digital footprint. We might actually be working with Brooke here in the near future. And again, follow us at Positive People Posse on Instagram. Although we don't post that much, which can be a good or bad thing for some people, but we like to post things that are real and authentic. And last but not least, live freely, stay positive. Peace out.